into what's brewing today straight away after those headlines. Fashion e-commerce major Myntra has forayed into the international market with the launch of Myntra Global, marking its first direct-to-consumer expansion outside of India. The Walmart-owned company is entering Singapore, aiming to cater to the city-state's sizable Indian diaspora, which is estimated at over 650,000. The launch is part of Myntra's broader global strategy to tap into new customer segments and build stronger international brand affinity in the next few years. For more on this, joining me now is Nandita Sinha, CEO of Myntra. Nandita, a pleasure to have you here on Startup Street. Let's start by, telling us about what the rationale behind choosing Singapore as Myntra's first international market was over larger diaspora hubs like, say, the US, UK, or even the Middle East.
Thanks for having us here today. Myntra Global is really our opportunity to take Indian fashion to the world. This is our foray of made in India brands, built in India, built for the Indian consumer. And how do we really actually increase their exposure and take them to the world? That is what Myntra Global is about. There is a large Indian diaspora that lives across the world, and we want to tap into that diaspora. We chose Singapore first because it's a country where already, around 5% of the Indian diaspora already, visits Myntra, the Myntra platform. Why we wanted to get into this venture was because of the fact that almost 10 to 15% of our traffic on the web actually comes from international markets. So we knew that there was an opportunity where consumers were looking at us.
Got that, Nandita, but what is the size of the opportunity you assess for Myntra in a market like Singapore, and what kind of investments are you going to be making for this global expansion?
So Singapore has around 650,000 Indian consumers. We've not put a market size because this is really a niche opportunity which is there within the large fashion market that is there. It's a growing opportunity, it's a big opportunity, but still is a part of the bigger fashion opportunity. So we've chosen not to put a number on it right now. We will foray into the Indian fashion, so Indian wear, ethnic wear, whether it's home decor, furnishing, etc. We have almost 100 brands right now which are live on the platform, which is myntraglobal.com, almost 35,000 styles which are available, which will expand to 100,000, and we have more brands signing up as we speak. So it is catering to that 650,000 Indian consumer, Indian population. It is a part of their fashion basket.
So, what after Singapore? Sometime in the future, do you have plans to look at other global markets? And how soon will we see you enter these markets after Singapore? And will the focus again remain on the Indian diaspora in these countries, or will you look beyond that as well?
What we are looking at right now is really looking at expanding for the Indian consumer, which is available in the Singapore market. If you look at the other markets where, which could be opportunities for us, are really markets where there is a big Indian diaspora. But like I said, right now, this is something we really want to learn. We are a platform which is always exploring new opportunities for fashion, and this seems to be an opportunity. So we are exploring this opportunity and we are trying to learn from this opportunity what is the right PMF, and then post that go into markets which have a large Indian diaspora.
Okay, so the focus is very much on the Indian diaspora in these countries, but how large could the contribution from Singapore be, say, in the next year or two? It's early days yet, but what is your overall expectation as far as contribution from the overseas business, say, in the medium term would be?
Too early, but I think, when we speak to D2C brands, I think they see a lot of the, there are some D2C brands where they see like good sales coming from the international markets because brands are available through social media. So there is awareness through social media of the brands, of these brands. And therefore for us, that has been a little bit of an indicator of where we want to go. So don't want to share any numbers because it's too early. But I think the earlier success has actually been shown by some of the D2C brands on where they see part of their, growth coming from.
All right, but Nandita, tell us, will brands on Myntra Global follow a different pricing or inventory strategy compared to what you do in India? For instance, will there be premium markups or curated selections or some exclusives that are tailored for that international audience?
For now, the brands are deciding the pricing strategy of, as they always do. They decide the markups and how they want to absorb the tariffs, etc. From an inventory standpoint, I think as we are starting off, brands are dipping into their existing India inventory, and honestly, that is the position of strength that we come from. That we don't need to earmark inventory or selection, especially for the global markets as we start, but we can really leverage what is available for Myntra, which is a very big platform. We have 70 million users, and therefore brands have already a very robust ecosystem to cater to these users. Now they can dip into the same and build the international business in Singapore. And then as we learn and grow, we can, take specialist bits, etc.
This is coming at an interesting time for Myntra. You've just turned profitable in FY24, yet to report FY25 numbers. But how do you plan to sustain this financial momentum while also funding new initiatives? Because it's not just Myntra Global, there's also mNow that you've launched. Could you tell us if, financials may take a bit of a hit with these new initiatives, or how the year could pan out?
I think wherever we have with the scale that we have, Ritu, we have the opportunity to go deep into a few opportunities and being able to really see them through and build their momentum. We will continue to drive a sustainable overall business, but with the scale that we have the opportunity to go deep and invest in a few things, and that's what we've been doing. That's what's helped us grow ahead of the market. So this is what this foray will also be. And like I said, we are going to ensure, I think our first port of call is to really not even scale. I would say the first port of call is to get product market fit right, then scale, and then, and continue to look at overall sustainability of the business.
All right. Quickly before we let you go, since we spoke of mNow, how has the pilot fared so far? What sort of business is it generating? And how soon do you plan to expand this to other cities apart from Bangalore?
I think mNow in Bangalore has been a great, has had a great start. We've been there for 3 months, and as we speak, and we will be talking about expansion into a few other cities by the end of the month, end of May. So you will hear from us on that. If I talk about Bangalore in itself, I think we've been able to establish a great proposition.
Nandita, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time here on CNBC TV18 today.